So this is where the real run starts, because you saw how the last one ended. And the first thing I would like to mention is that I was an idiot and didn't save after going down from the third floor. Now, of course, I thought I did, and was pretty surprised when I didn't. So I get to see the first two floors again. Very, very exciting. And that also means, reusing personas, blah 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 blah, you know how it goes. So from here, I think this went like a little cleaner, but I think I missed out on a bunch of shuffle times, so like items were worse, exciting. I'll cut back in when there's something interesting to talk about. Man, I feel like those first two floors took me way longer than they should have. But here I am going back again, and here I decided to fuse a bunch of new personas, and I started off with trying to fuse Anzu, but of course, I just got a Fornius instead. A not very good Fornius. I immediately got rid of it and made an Archangel here, as you can observe. And Archangel is kind of cool, but I didn't get to keep it around. I think it might make sense to bring it back just to get Hama later, but I did use it to get Eligor, and Eligor is one of the personas I use for the rest of the dungeon. Eligor is very good. I really like having a physical resisting persona, because you don't just get murked by physical moves. It kind of hurts. And then I made Jack Frost, because Jack Frost is Jack Frost. You can't go wrong with Jack Frost. And his magic stat's great, and use him for my magical attacks. And I did put Zeo on him as well, because I don't have any coverage for Zeo otherwise on my team. Otherwise, just kind of covers Ice, which is on Chie, and Chie is my worst magic user, so I think it kind of covers the best of what I need. I have other coverages as well, but turns out that having that Ice immunity is actually really, really nice. So I go back into the floors now and use those new personas, and I think that went a little better for me than it did last time. So here I am seeing this cutscene again. Had a couple of different people in the voice chat with me at this point in time, so I just didn't speed through it. Listen to it again just so they could watch it, but nothing too exciting there. More of the same, really. Now here I don't remember if I tried to actually get these guys. I think eventually I quit on trying to get more than one of these at a time down because it just never happened. It was painful and I wasted too many. I didn't really waste resources so much because I was just using physicals, but yeah, it's just not great. And as you can see, I got nothing out of that. I did get those go homes back, and those are really nice. Make my life way easier in these dungeons. And I believe, yeah, this is the guy I lost to in the last run, like that big guy. So I was like, I'm scared of you, and tried to figure out a way to beat him. Of course, this went a little bit better, and part of it was just, confusing him or whatever, statusing him, and it wasn't too much of an issue to get him down. At this point I was a little bit surprised that, there was more to this floor other than just the cutscene. I think that was partly just due to the fact that that didn't happen in the previous cutscene, and I completely forget this game. But, yeah, it wasn't really an issue. Once I got past that one guy, there was no trouble moving on. This guy kind of scared me because he got summoned out of nowhere, and I hadn't seen him before, but didn't turn out to be too scary to beat. So that was shade dude. These guys also super scared me because they were red. But I think I beat up on them last time, and I knew that they were weak to something. I think they were. I remember they were using ice, and I can block ice now, so that was way better. As you can see, I still use like a revival bead, trying to beat them up. So they're still kind of hard to deal with. They can easily take out the rest of my team, but they didn't really take me out, and that's kind of the main concern. I often kind of flew through getting those gold chests, so it might be impossible to see what I get, but a lot of it was just minor accessories. I did get a kind of cool accessory for +2 magic eventually that I put on Yukiko, and there was one time that I literally got something that I couldn't even figure out what it was because I just mashed through too fast. I just assumed it was a copy of something else. I tend to not have any trouble with chest keys just due to shuffle times, but that's not 100% true, and there are a couple of gold chests I missed towards the top of the bathhouse. Now, interesting thing about the bathhouse actually is that I initially had thought that the bathhouse goes downstairs for some reason, and so it was kind of off-putting when suddenly the steps were going up again. I'm like, wait, I thought they had changed it up and that you go down levels of stairs. Like, it makes sense in a bathhouse, kind of. I mean, I don't think of a bathhouse as having 11 floors ever, down or up, but, just kind of made more sense underground in my mind. So, that was a little interesting quirk of this place. Now, I'm not super good about managing my SP here, but I had so many snuff souls from before that I was just kind of using them, not worried about it, and I figured it wouldn't be an issue to get more. Here, as before, I tried to deal with one gold dude, but I just started missing entirely on him the whole time, and as you can see, I didn't quite get there as a result. Very, very annoying, honestly. At this point, I'm up to the 6th floor, so I decide to pull back and save, which is, I think, a good idea. I get the Hama card, which I think is very nice to have, and I start making a couple more personas. Now, most of this at this point is just for covering stuff in the compendium, but I do make Titan here and get a couple levels on him, and I immediately get rid of him to make Zijai, which I called Mareep at the time, I remember, just because it reminds me way too much of Marie, which is like one pretty long, like a unicorn horn. Well, otherwise, I was like, I don't have enough other stuff to use, but I tend to just use just about everything as fusion fodder, trying to fill up the compendium. That's just how I tend to play the game, and then have maybe 1 or 2 personas that I use regularly further on. And now, here I just grab another persona, more for fusion fodder. I also know that I need a sun persona to continue one of the social links, so I made it a point to remember some of the stuff that I need, just to make sure I have it once I'm finished with the dungeon. Now, I'm not actually done with the dungeon yet, that's still gonna come in a live stream later, but for now, those are my thoughts in the back of my mind. Yeah, as you can see, I started running from the gold hands eventually, and these guys I still dealt with. I didn't really run from much of else. I think I did run from something when I got a little, like, destroyed by statuses before even getting to move at one point, but otherwise I didn't tend to run from fights. And in general, way less of a grind this dungeon than in the past when I was dealing with Yukiko's castle. These guys were new to me at this point in time, and I was a little scared of them, but there's no problem. Once again, I'm always a little scared of new guys because I never remember all their weaknesses, and even if I feel like I do, like, there's so many versions that look the same in this game, it's like you kind of have to analyze them to remember which one it is. Here I got Oberon, which is actually huge because Oberon kind of saved me later on. Oberon has an electric move, but also has well, you'll see it. Anyway, I'll talk about it when we get there. But I do note that I got Oberon. So here's the mid-boss. This mid-boss scared me a lot because he was just super buffing his attack. But I'm like, wait, well I have Eligor. He doesn't even take, like, he resists physical, so who cares? So I started, like, nullifying his attack buffs, but otherwise just kind of attacking him and slowly whittling him down with physicals. And he did just kind of completely destroy Yukiko, and I was just like, alright, fine, I'll use it for rival bead, whatever. Just don't kill me. And turned out being not really much of an issue. I ended up using her just as a healer because I didn't want to waste her SP too much without being useful, because, like, physical attacks were not doing any less than magical attacks. So yeah, no real issues with that mid-boss. I ended up getting rid of Bash from Magaru on Yosuke because I ran out of slots on him, and I figured the multi-hit wind is more useful than Bash, which I would constantly been using the higher level physical skill at that point. At this point I was up to floor, what, 8? Yeah, I started kind of flying through the floors here. These guys kind of scared me. Yeah, these guys I think were the guys that I was super scared of. I don't remember exactly, but I think I ended up switching to Oberon here, yeah, and then healing myself because I was so close to dead. So I just kind of resorted to a bead. But it kind of turned out okay. And I think I switched to Oberon because he was less likely to die to those guys. Of course, I have Persona Memory on, so it remembers to start with Eligor at the start of every fight. I think that's huge, because remembering to do that every fight is a huge, huge pain. So I don't want to do that. Otherwise, I'm constantly trying to heal a little bit with the cards, because I know I kind of need it, especially if I want to go continue on through the fight, through the grinding and stuff, and trying to get side quests on later. There I tried to avoid the red enemy. I had a lot of trouble with it. Tried to run away and then just beat him anyway, because he ended up being kind of easy. That was pretty silly. So yeah, here I ran back, healed up again, and decided to go through and re-register my cards, my new cards, and fuse some new personas. So I fused Ippon Datara, who I thought would be a good persona, but it turned out like didn't seem very useful to me. He had very high physical, but only magical attacks. It had like no magic. It was kind of silly. I didn't want to fuse away Oberon after a while, so I just kind of left. But wait, did I? No, I decided to fuse I decided to buy back the Sun Persona just to see if it fused with Yukon Tara any good, and noticed that I got a pretty cool persona at level 19, so I just decided to wait. Going back into the bathhouse, I'm now up to what, floor 9? So yeah, now I just have 2 more floors to go before I get up to where the boss is. Not too scary at this point, so I just figured, sure, let's just finish this up. And I was thinking at the time, like, I'll just leave after this and not worry about it, just because my SP was so low. So that's what I went ahead and went in thinking. I also tried to keep getting sweep bonuses because, you know, always good to get those. Always good to get those rewards. I really like those rewards in general. I really like how it does it in this game. Way better than the original where you had to just time stuff. Here I got Obarian, which is a nice new persona. I didn't know he was available here, so that was kind of cool. What else? At this point I was just kind of trying to rush to the top. Kind of like I did in the castle back when I just tried to rush to the top. Here though, at least I knew I could deal with the enemies, so it wasn't awful, and I wasn't able to take care of most of the guys I ran into. Kept picking up personas, just, you know, for fusion fodder, mostly, and yeah, these guys didn't end up being quite as scary as I thought, though running into them by accident definitely did not make me want to stay there. Yeah, I remember one time I ran into these guys that use red wall, and oh well, yeah, as you can see, I died to those guys at one point. But I think at some point during this section of the run, yeah, I'd just go back up to floor 9, so it's not like I lost too much progress. They just all use red wall, and I'm just like, well, I don't want to deal with you guys now, so I just ran away. And that's the kind of situation usually where I just run away from an enemy fight, because it's just, what's the point of dealing with these guys who are weak to fire if they all just use red wall? They didn't hurt me, like, just a waste of time to fight them, whittling them down, waste of resources. That's how it is in my mind. So, otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, you'll see me rush through floor 10, but that's about it. Hope you enjoyed this quick run-through of the Kanji bathhouse, and I'll come back next episode showing you kind of the side quest stuff that I did at this point in the run. Pretty much it. There is one more persona fusing section at the end, but just let me watch that if you want. I'm done here, so I hope you enjoyed this voiceover of me doing the entirety of Kanji's bathhouse, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.
History, but that finds all the place in it. You